Hi, I'm Michael Fucci. I'm an attorney here in Los Angeles. I work with Rocket Lawyer, have been doing so for over 7 years, and working with people like you who are looking to incorporate your business. You get into business because you like to bake cakes, or you enjoy bicycling, so you open up a bike shop, and the last thing on your mind is incorporating, opening up a business bank account. So I just want to come talk to you today a little bit more about how to incorporate, what it means to incorporate, and some of the benefits associated with doing so. Well, incorporation is really just an operation of state law. It's a way that individuals can separate themselves from their business. They create a separate legal structure as an incorporated business, and that separates them from their personal side. What are the reasons you want to incorporate as a small business owner? There are actually several advantages to incorporating as a small business owner, ranging from limited liability protection to potential tax savings to being able to very simply and easily open up a business bank account and a business credit card. Because it opens up some additional opportunities for you, it gives you room to grow. It also creates legitimacy to your business. People look at you as, well, this is an official business, and so they take you more seriously than if you were a sole proprietorship or a partnership, for example. What are the most popular types of business entities for small business owners? Well, there are several to choose from. Most people are familiar with sole proprietorships or partnerships. Those are really sort of the entry-level way that you start a business. But there's also something known as an LLC, which is a limited liability company. And what that offers, it's basically a hybrid between a sole proprietorship and a corporation. It gives you that limited liability protection, that separation between your personal and business assets, and it's very easy to manage on a year-to-year basis. So what is this limited liability protection that you always hear about? Well, when you're establishing as an LLC, you're creating an entity that's separate from yourself, and that allows separation between your business assets and your personal assets. And by doing so, that offers protection against your personal assets. So, for example, in a practical sense, if you're entering a contract with a client or with a customer, and something were to happen where there might be potential liability, by incorporating, you're actually protecting your personal assets from being reachable. And that's why it's so crucial when you're thinking about whether I should incorporate, is it too early to incorporate? It's really never too early to think about that, because when you start entering contracts, you want to make sure that it's your business that's on the line and not you personally. I think it's important to understand really how the taxation works within a traditional LLC. It's pass-through taxation. So what that means is the business itself does not file its own tax return, but rather it passes through. Essentially, you are declaring your business's earnings on your personal tax return. So your business is actually taxed at your personal rate. You can counter that with a corporation that actually files two different tax returns. That's where the term double taxation, you might have heard that, comes from, where you're taxed both at the corporation level and then also at the personal level. So within those two structures, you can vary how you're taxed. And one of those ways is as an S-corporation. So that offers different benefits depending on what type of entity you are. For an LLC, it will allow you to avoid some self-employment taxes. As a corporation, it will allow you to file only one tax return. The advantage of an LLC filing as an S-corporation would be that you're only paying self-employment taxes on your earnings. You're not paying it on the distributions. But the great thing about incorporating is that there are these options. So you can talk with a tax professional, you can talk with a Rocket Lawyer on-call attorney and determine what is the best taxation structure for you. Start thinking about this early. Start thinking about incorporating early so that you're not forced to pay these additional fees. So how much does it cost to incorporate? Well, fees vary based on the state in which you're incorporating. Depending on the state you're in, you may have an annual requirement to file an annual report and pay an annual fee. Now, the fees vary from state to state. It could be, in some states there is no requirement. It might be as low as $10, but it could run upwards of over $300 for an LLC. So when you sign up with Rocket Lawyer at rocketlawyer.com, you have access to a ton of legal forms, but you also have access to Rocket Lawyer Incorporation services. And by just selecting an easy drop-down menu of the state you're incorporating in, it takes you through some simple questions. you can connect with our agents and use our technology that will help to make incorporation a breeze. We serve as your bridge between your company and the Secretary of State's office, making sure that everything is filed correctly. Essentially, Rocket Lawyer is part of your team. We're here to help make running your business a little bit easier. Is it worth it to incorporate when you consider all the fees and the extra paperwork that you might have to file? My answer to that is yes. You think about it in terms of the benefits you get from incorporating versus being unlimitedly liable for something. It pretty much makes it a clear-cut answer that yes, it's worth incorporating. I like to look at it this way. It's almost like a little bit of an insurance policy, where you pay a little bit out, but the protection that you get will allow you to sleep well at night.